Willie, what has this meant to be part of this year-long, Centennial celebration?
100 years?
Yeah.
Well, I'm 87. I'm 89, so it sounds good, really. I'm just so proud to be a part of the Bruins family. When I went to their training camp in 1958, I became a Bruins fan, and since then everything has been just absolutely fantastic for me. The organization is a great organization, and I'm proud and very happy to be a part of it.
Willie, what do you remember of the atmosphere here on game day and in your era?
Well, it was loud.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's any other louder fans in the NHL than the Bruins fans. I watch them on the telly, and every time a goal is scored or something, I mean, you can hardly hear the. I think it's absolutely fantastic.
We saw you just with Johnny Bucyk a little bit. What's it been like to reunite with so many?
Oh,
Bruins?
great! When I first come up, Johnny, he took me under his wing, and I didn't have any problems. I mean, as far as that, because if there was something going on the ice, there was always a Bruin there to back me up. So I'm happy, and when I found out that I was coming on this trip, I was overjoyed, really.
Have you been able to connect a lot with the current guys, and what's that been like to kind of bridge those gaps?
Oh, and then the young players, I've met all of them, and it's just nice to know that so many young players, are coming up and being a part of the organization. 18, 19 years old, and when I come up with the Bruins, I was in my 20s, but it's a great organization, I have to say, and I live in San Diego, and anywhere I go, they say, oh, you're a Bruins, and I said, yeah. I was a Montreal fan in 1956, but then when I went to the Bruins training camp in 1958, I became a Bruins fan, and it's great, really. It's a nice feeling.
Is there a moment or a game that really sticks out to you from playing games?
A Memorial Day?
A moment or a game that sticks out.
Oh, yeah. Well, my first game on January the 18th, 1958, against the Montreal Canadiens. That's why tonight's game is a big game for me to see them, beat the Canadiens. And then when I scored my first goal in the NHL, it was against Montreal Canadiens here in the Boston Gardens on January the 1st, 1961. So those two really stick in my mind.
What is it like for you to come in and see your name and the rafters?
It's great, to look up there and see my banner. I've been blessed over the years. I really have. I've had good health, and I've been. My family has been very supportive, and when every opportunity I get a chance to come to Boston, I do.
Well, you've been asked to be an ambassador and for hockey. Are you proud of the way you filled that role over the last few decades?
Yes. Especially when I came with the National Hockey League in 1988, Commissioner Bettman, and thanks to him for bringing me aboard. And at that time, it was the diversity program, which is now the Hockeyist for Everyone program. And I was doing a lot of traveling at that time to schools and boys and girls clubs and juvenile detention facilities, trying to get more boys and girls interested in playing hockey. And really, it's been great. I haven't traveled as much now, but I still do a lot of Zooms, do a lot of phone interviews, and stay relatively, involved with the game.
You seem to enjoy working with the youngsters, talking to them.
Oh, it's great, and I still get emails and phone calls from some of the boys and girls that I've worked with over the years, and they tell me that some of the things that I've talked about, they're using them in their daily life, and they said I feel that I'm a much better person. So that's nice to hear. It's a nice feeling.
What made you a Canadiens fan in your childhood?
Pardon me?
What made you a Canadiens fan in your childhood?
Well, I was drafted by the Montreal Canadiens, and I turned pro with the Quebec Aces in 1956, and they were affiliated with the Montreal Canadiens. But then I came to the Bruins training camp on 2 occasions, and then turned pro in 1956, and then became a Bruins fan.
Home was Fredericton, right?
Fredericton,
Yeah.
New Brunswick.
And
Yeah.
a lot of Habs fans there?
Yes,
There are.
yes, there are. Freddie Beach, they say. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. My pleasure.
Willie, John, is this the first time you've been here since your number?
Pardon me?
Is this the first time you've been in here since your number was retired?
In here, yeah, but not in the building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Season starting last year and culminating today. What's the excitement level of celebrating the history of the organization?
Well, it's been a phenomenal year. I think the Bruins organization has done a great job. I got to come back, I think it was 2 or 3 times last year for some of the celebrations that were fantastic. Just reuniting with some of the guys that you've played with from, my time here, or, people that came before me, and was a lot of fun. And this being the kind of the final chapter, closing the book on 100 years, it's just amazing how, the history and everything that's happened in 100 years for the Boston Bruins, and it's quite a feat, and it's been amazing to be part of it, to have been part of this almost 21 years. It's been a dream come true for me, just making it to the NHL, but being part of the Boston Bruins for almost 21 years has been great. So something that I really don't take for granted, that I really enjoyed, and still to this day, I'm a big fan. I bleed black and gold, and my family, we're all still here in Boston. So it's another special day to be part of.
Ray, do you remember the first time you threw on the jersey and when you started to realize the significance of playing for the Bruins?
Yeah, which one? Number 29 or number 7 or 77? Yeah, I just remember being here for the first time. The draft was August 9th, I think, that year because of the merger. The Bruins flew Brad McCrimmon and I into town to meet with some of the press, and I just remember seeing the Boston Garden for the first time. There was no ice, it was dark, but you could just feel the energy and the how much fun it was going to be to play there, and I was really anxious to play our first game because we didn't have training camp or exhibition games in the Boston Garden. We just skated there. I think it was 3 days before our first game. Camp was in Fitchburg, and just coming on the Boston Garden ice for the first time in practice 3 days before that opening game, and then actually playing against the Winnipeg Jets. My first game coming through those doors where the Zamboni comes out, I remember very vividly how that felt, and it was just amazing with, the Boston Garden was a special building where people were on top of you, and sometimes it would just get trembling, and people were really excited about opening night, 1979. So was I, and it was really a good start to really something special that I look back on.
Ray, how about just the rivalry of the Bruins and the Canadiens, and obviously fitting that these two teams are playing today?
Well, you're talking to a kid, French-Canadian here from Montreal, that was on both sides of that. I was a big Montreal Canadiens fan. I used to miss school to go to the parades, and we were pretty spoiled growing up. And I remember 1979 when the Bruins lost in the 7th game in overtime when they were leading 3-1. I was coming back from Verdun where the Memorial Cup was being played, and Brandon Weekings played the Peterborough Pleats, and I taken a bus home after that game because that's where I played junior hockey in Verdun. We weren't part of it, but I went to watch, and I just remember coming home that night. It was the same night that Montreal had beat the Bruins, and I was like, we did it again. And a few months later, it all changed. And I really felt the rivalry when I came to camp, and all the players were really still, you could see how upset and pissed and disappointed they were over that loss. And I knew that, things were definitely changing for me when I was drafted, but I never saw myself playing in Montreal, going into that draft, and no possibilities playing for there. And yeah, I might have dreamt for playing for the Canadians one day when I was really young, but once you start evolving and kind of hearing or knowing that things may happen for you, you're not even thinking about playing your hometown. And I think for me, it wasn't very hard to just be a Bruin and to do my best. It was hard for me to play well against the Canadians my first couple of years, just because I wanted to play so well, especially in Montreal, in front of your fans and your family and your friends and stuff like that, and just wanted to do good there. Always trying to do too much, and kind of took me a little bit to just settle in, to just play my game when it came to playing the Canadians. But that happened, and but I used to go back to Montreal every summer, and we play pretty much every year. We play them in the playoffs, and I'd have to hear crap all summer long from family and friends. And 1987 was the quietest summer I've ever had, and it was fantastic going back after finally beating Canadians. I think it was 45 or 40, 44, 45 years. I think it was 18 playoff series without a win. To be part of that team for everybody in our organization, it was fantastic. And from that point on, we did pretty well against Montreal in the playoffs, so that was great. But the rivalry was a very, very special one, and the biggest one. I mean, when teams meet that often in the playoffs and they have amazing series, regardless of, the Bruins maybe not having as much success for a long time there, it was still great hockey, and one that, everybody would look forward to be part of. Player, fans, media. I mean, you guys know that covering those kind of playoff series, nothing gets better than that. So for a player, it was the same thing for us. And being from Montreal, it was very special.
Ray, Patrick Roy said that it was a mission, it was a total mission of the Avalanche to win the Stanley Cup for you. Had great years in Boston, but when you go out there, what does it say to you about the Bruins organization that they would move you to a place where you had that shot?
I asked to be moved, because the shot wasn't going to happen in Boston my last 3 years or so. But Harry was, picked the right spot for me, for sure. Probably the most talented team I ever played on was the Avalanche there in 2000, 2001. And regardless of how talented you are and all that stuff, from, being in the league for so long, it doesn't guarantee you anything. So getting it done was an amazing experience for me and my family.
Your career in perspective, we talked the other night about how important it was for you when you arrived in Boston by trade in 1957 for Terry Sawchuk. You come here and now you make your entire life in Boston. What does this city mean to you and the franchise, the organization itself?
Well, this is my home. I mean, I've been here, 67 years now, so I just love it here. I love the city is great. Close to the ocean, so I can go and do a lot, some fishing. To me, it's home.
Chief, what's the best way for you to describe the rivalry between the Bruins and the Canadians?
Well, not only with Montreal, we've had it with a lot of other teams, but for some reason you have a rivalry and you forget about it after the game's over. I know, like a lot of the players, Serge Savard, like him, after a game we'd run in and have a cold beer or something together. We never held grudges. When you're on the ice, it's a different thing. We used to play physical, and we used to have a lot of fights on our team, but that's the way the game was. And the fans loved it. So we had to keep them happy.
Chief, what has this past year been like to see some guys who maybe haven't been here in a while come back for some of these celebrations?
Well, this celebration's been unbelievable, you know, and it's good for me to see a lot of the players that I played with, and I played with a lot, and you know, just to see them, to see that they're okay and they're having fun, they're enjoying it, and we're all enjoying this whole thing. It's been terrific.
How about the impact, Chief, that Milt had on this organization? If he were here celebrating 100 years, just the impact that he had.
Yeah, Milty,
Yeah.
Uncle Milty, you know, he was probably one of the best. I want to phrase this right. He was so good. He was such a good coach, a great GM. You know, I spent a lot of time with him, and after he retired from all that, I used to go visit him at his house, where he stayed. We became like father and son. You know, he was terrific. And the thing about Milt that I remember most, he never swore. Never. Not a hit. And he called everybody men. He didn't call you anything else in the dressing room when he was coaching. So you had to admire that.
You talked about the fights, Chief. Do you miss the fights?
No, I only had about 4, I think, or 5. I don't, you know, I've always said you can't score goals in the penalty box. And I felt that was probably more valuable out in the ice, especially on the power play. I got a lot of goals, a lot of points. But I didn't have any problems out there because in those days, I probably was one of the heaviest, strongest players in the league. I played at 220, and nobody knew that. I didn't look it.
Yeah, all hips.
So all hips, yeah.
Yep.
I'm paying the price though. the hips are a little beat up.
What was the emotion like and the feeling like when you went up and played in the Forum? Did it make the night different?
Well, yeah, it was pretty wild because the fans there are great fans. They know the game, and they respected us. But they used to boo us all the time when we came in, and I used to look at them and say, "That's fine. You can boo all you want. I'll thank you in the summer when I'm spending your money." Yeah. So,
Patrice, after a year-long celebration of the Centennial, you get the Centennial game today. What does it mean to be here and a part of this?
I mean, it's special. You know, I think it's just to be a part of it is something that I think means a lot to me. And you think about all the history that this franchise has had, and you know, the legends have been through these doors is very meaningful for me to be a part of this celebration, and especially against, you know, Montreal and their, you know, history as well.
Patrice, if you can remember when you first got here, you know, what you knew of the history of the team, and then when you started to realize, you know, the meaning of being a Bruin.
Yeah, I think right away when I came in, you know, to be honest, I didn't know that much about, you know, the history and everything else, but yeah, as soon as you walk into the doors and you see the legends, you know, walking in at any given time, from, you know, John Bucyk to Wayne Cashman, that was, you know, an assistant coach back then, to Ray and all the, you know, the amazing players in Cam. So very special. I think you understand it very quickly, and you know, these guys always been available to answer any questions, and it kind of makes you understand what it really means to wear that jersey and the pride that you have to wear with.
I noticed the inside of your jacket. Was that special?
Yeah, special made. Yeah, from the team. So a little gift from everyone. I think yeah, very thoughtful and pretty special little piece of you know, a little surprise, I guess, and that I can cherish and keep you know, at home.
How much do you embrace now being part of that group that can be, you know, a resource for today's players and future players?
Yeah, I think it's definitely fun to try to be around and try to help out as much as you can. I think it's you know, there's a lot of guys in that locker room that I'm good friends with, and I have a lot of respect for. So always available if they need me in any capacity. To be honest with you, to answer any questions and whatnot. I know they, they have it handled, and they have a lot of leadership already in that locker room. But just I think just like I did, I guess. In my days, it's just more being there for them and to support, but also being a fan and showing, I guess, support and showing that you're pulling for them.
Patrice, did this year create some connections with some of the former players that maybe you hadn't met before, that kind of united the alumni as a group?
I can't say particularly that I've had like. To be honest, like it's over the years, I think I've done that. Being able to get to know some of the guys, whether it's at the golf tournament, or during the year, guys coming in. As I said before, the guys are welcome in the locker room. They always, the alumni always usually come in and say hi and shake hands. So over the years, I've gotten to know a lot of those guys, and it's obviously always special and meaningful to have those conversations. I have a lot of respect for all of them, and I think you just carry on that tradition, and it's always a lot of fun to be able to do that.
Patrice, players tend to live in the present, and they say, when I retire, I'll stop and reflect and start to look back on my career. Have you had a chance to do that, put it in perspective?
It's a good question, and you're so right that that's what I used to say. When I'm done, I'll be able to look back. I don't know if I really have done that, to be quite honest. It's at times I've done it, but it seems like life comes at you so fast that you don't really always take the time to reflect and look back. But the one thing that I'll say is I'm really thankful to have been able to play for so long and for an original six franchise, a franchise that has a lot of history, and to be in the city like Boston. So I feel very blessed, and the people I've been able to meet over the years, the friendships that I've had, that I still have, is pretty special.
The Selke is right across the street on Canal Street. Do you have visitation rights this weekend?
The Selke?
The Selke.
Yeah, no. No, those are all things that, as I said, maybe I feel like I'm still young, so maybe as I get older, I'll look back and reflect on. But for now, I haven't really had a chance. I'm too busy with the kids trying to chase them around.
Is there a tiny piece of you today that wishes you were playing?
Yeah, maybe. Same thing last year. Every time you come here, there's a part of you that wish you'd be out there on the ice and still playing. But when I look back, like I said before, I have no regrets. I'm at peace with the decision, and just excited and happy, and for the guys, and want to cheer them on.
Patrice, you talk about playing with. Kevin just asked if you wish you were playing.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, you are going to be playing with a lot of your 2011 teammates. Have you thought about that? Like what it's going to be like to be on the ice with them?
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. We have a little group chat going, and it seems like the boys are excited to get back in town, grab a little dinner the night before. So it'll be nice to just, talk memories and just, catch up on life. As I said before, life goes fast, and sometimes it's important, to take that time to, connect with some of the guys that you create something so special with. So that will be a perfect time for it, opportunity for it, and that being said, hopefully we can get on the ice before then and make sure we stretch out the legs and nobody pulls anything. Yeah.